Russo. I love that kid though. Great guy. I'm also not good talking with a microphone, but I'm a pretty loud person to begin with.
Yeah.
I got a lot of sheets over here of paper that I've written 4 or 5 times already, over and over, so I don't know how much I'll need them.
Wait a minute, we gotta get a picture of that.
Damn it.
Photographer, we need a picture of that.
Alright, we're gonna try and get through this. Alright.
Don't cry.
Good evening, everyone. Jane and Chris, thank you so much for this opportunity. Greatly appreciate it. Is this loud enough?
No.
I'm going to talk a little bit about family tonight. We all have family that once we were born in this world, we immediately had family. You didn't necessarily get to choose those people, but we certainly get to choose folks after that. Shit. Chris and I chose each other a long time ago. Okay? Very fortunate enough to meet each other early in lives, and really had a wonderful time spending together. Now, I've only known Jane since Wednesday. I've known Chris since I was 5 or 6 years old. But I'll be perfectly honest, I've had an amazing time with Jane in the last 3 days. A sociably, agreeably good time, not weird. So, like I said, I met Chris when I was 5 or 6 years old. And we've pretty much been laughing our asses off and getting in trouble ever since then, pretty much in that order. Most of these folks, at least from Hudson, were around for a lot of those times, so there's no innocent faces in this room.
God bless you.
I consider Chris part of my family. And like I said, everybody has family, but you get the opportunity to choose others that you want to bring into your family. Chris is in my family, and I assume that's the same. I don't consider Chris a family member because I've known him for 35 years. It has nothing to do with the longevity of time. I consider Chris family because of the experiences we've had together, and pretty much the love that Chris has shown me in my life. Chris has given me love over and over, many, many times that didn't necessarily deserve, but he always gives it. Yes, you can be a man and say love. I love you, Chris, to death. Chris has simply put, made my life better just by being involved in it. One of those experiences happened many years ago when we were home from college, and a bunch of us all decided to go out for some drinks. Chris was in charge of driving that night, which was not unlikely. Chris and I decided at a very young age, at 16, even though we weren't 21, at 16 we decided we were going to share the risk of driving. Chris would drive Friday night, I would drive Saturday night. And some of these ladies back here never volunteered, so they didn't get rides. And when I went, we showed up, and they're like, how are you guys going to get there? Like, we're going to get ourselves there. So Chris picks me up this night, and just like every other night, my mom says, Chris, don't lose my son. And Chris immediately responds like every other night, says, no problem, I won't, we'll be responsible. About 2 drinks in, I don't feel so good. I take a little stroll, and for better words, I misplaced myself. which, because of the promise that Chris had made, meant, by default, he had misplaced me too.
Big trouble. Big trouble.
Now, a little bit about picking Chris up. I'll get back to the end of that story in a second, but that's one thing about when you live or travel with Chris. Picking Chris up is how I got to know the Mastores family. I knew the Mastores from when I was 7 years old, playing youth football. But I didn't get to know them as people until I got to 16 years old and had a driver's license and started picking him up. Because no matter what time you tell him to be ready, he is not going to be ready. All right? So I immediately have an hour to 90 minutes of getting to know the Mercine and Pete show on a regular weekend basis. Stephanie was sitting there for most of those evenings too. His whole shit shower shave routine is ridiculous.
The 3 S's,
He takes after him.
Yeah, we got that down to a science.
So At the time when I was 16 or 17, 18, I probably was annoyed by having those conversations, being like, oh man, how long is it going to take? But I love Pete, and I love Mercine, and I love Stephanie. I got to meet their family.
It's okay. It's all right.
Got to know them very close, and I loved them this much that day. It's so great to see you.
Ditto.
Thank you so much for having us. Anyway, back to that story. I misplaced myself, but Chris didn't shut it down. I woke up probably 6 or 7 hours later behind a shopping plaza. I have no idea why or how I got there. I got up, I walked into the front of the shopping plaza, not a car or a light in sight. It was like a ghost town. And I was like, well, time to start walking. I start walking home, heading towards home. I get about a third of the way there, and like a knight in shining armor. The only headlights I've seen since I started walking are coming right at me down the main street. And it's Chris's white Ford Explorer, and one of our other friends standing outside of his moonroof, waving their arms, screaming, "Rich!"
It's Jessica.
That's Jessica.
Chris didn't give up on me. You understand? He did not give up on me. He had been driving around for about 6 to 7 hours looking for me. You understand? It's a small town. There's nowhere to go. In those, you'd have to ask him how many hours it was, because I have no idea. I wasn't part of that period. He also had to call my house and tell my mom, I've lost your son. I told you 3 hours ago I wouldn't lose him. Now I've lost him. At 2 o'clock in the morning, that's the phone call I make. It's not an easy phone call to make. Not at my house. If you know any of my parents, that's not an easy phone call to make in my house. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't want to ramble on. That's just one example of like the love that Chris has shown me over my life. I hope I've reciprocated in some way to him. And I'm just really excited for the both of you to be able to share, hopefully not that experience exactly, but those types of events of love that you take care of somebody else. And I know you will. So congratulations to both of you. I'm so glad to have met you this week, Jane, and it's amazing. Please take care of my closest friend. Cheers.
Cheers.